Do you ever feel like the world is falling apart? Well, you're in luck because I do too. This is the Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Randy. That's Danny. What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Rick? I'm laughing because I think we use that fairly often for our introduction. It could be like our standard intro.
Yeah. Are things terrible? You're in luck.
Falling apart.
Yeah. It's crazy because we were just saying before this episode, like I had a spectacular day. I got done so much stuff that's so good, and then still it's just feel like the world is just falling apart, and
Dude,
it's just like, man, it's hard to, yeah.
it's like it's funny because I feel like when I'm in the moment and like doing stuff or like I don't know. It's like I can feel really good, but then as soon as I start long-term thinking, it's like I feel so lost. Like, and or like you said too, like I'll get a ton done, like really good stuff, like make so much progress. And then like as soon as I get slightly tired, and I think that's what it is. I'm not positive, but I do think it's like has to do with being tired a little bit. It's like my ability to keep that like present and not let my mind wander and not get like overwhelmed immediately just goes away. It's
Mhm.
like almost instantaneous. The exact thing happened to me the other day, and I was like, I had such a good day. And it was like 9 o'clock, and I'm brushing my teeth, and I got like so down for a minute, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, it must just be because I'm tired, but it's hard to know.
It's definitely hard to know. And yeah, it's like that thing they talk about, give us this day our daily bread. And it's like if you just are able to focus on today, it's like, you know what? I'll make it through. I'll get to bed. But most of the time the worries, the problems come because looking deep into the future and it always and the crazy thing is, it's like mental filtering. It's like you're filtering out all the positive possible
Yeah.
outcomes and you're just looking at the negative positive outcomes. And theoretically, they're both equally likely. So just that you're focusing on the negative ones is just as likely as if positive stuff was to happen, but you never look at the positive stuff. You never look at the future and be like, man, things are going to be awesome. I'm going to have all this money and, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it is funny that we do that, right? It's always this negative downward spiral rather than like thinking about like, I don't know, yeah, anything positive or pleasant or good that's like coming up or in the future. It's always this it's never like, oh, I'm definitely gonna be able to do that. Because like I know I have the skill set, the determination, whatever. It's always like I'm never gonna be able to make that. That's too much hard work, whatever. And yeah, it's
Mhm.
hard to keep going. It's funny too, because like I was actually thinking about this week as well, because I was looking over um Epicurus's ethics and like philosophy, and I was reading some of the ancients again, and I was also looking at we looked at Taoism, last week and all, and it's funny how many philosophies too, I think, especially focused on like the good life, the recommendation is always a simplification that like all of our stresses and concerns come from really worrying about stuff that we have no control over, or really like imagination, like letting that spin out of control and not focusing on the present and like the things that we actually need. But getting caught up in like the societal BS, chasing keeping up with the Joneses, all that crap, the constant looking outwards at the world and looking at what it has and being upset that you don't have it, that kind of comparison. And I think
Yeah.
it's funny that like this has clearly been a problem for ever, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be resolved yet. And the crazy thing is, like, I intentionally don't look at the news, don't look at social media because I know it's all garbage and it makes you feel terrible. But recently I've had the experience where like people at the office and stuff like that, I'm greeting them and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Oh, could you believe that? Blah 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 blah.
Let me tell you
What
about
do you
all the
think?
news.
Yeah, let me dump all of this garbage onto your plate. Okay, I hope you have a good day too.
You know what I hate too is like all that stuff, like because like everything with like the news now and like politics, it's all just become like this like negative baiting and like I forget the word now, but like it's like doom scrolling and stuff like that and all. It's just like
Yeah.
all this negative crap. There's never anything positive. But it's like
Uh-uh.
as soon as you hear about it too, it's like one, I know what's going on in the world. Like I don't need to watch the news to have a pretty decent idea of what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they're still fighting in the Middle East.
They're still
You
fighting
know?
everywhere, right? And
Yeah.
all the politicians that run these countries are still total assholes. Like,
Yep.
it's like I get that. But at the same time, it's like as soon as you hear it too, it's hard to like not get angry about it or just let it go. It's like it's funny how easy it is for that to like anger you, I guess. And part of it maybe is because like, when you're upset with things now or whatever in your own life, or like, you know, you're trying to put this effort in staying focused and staying present. It's like that stuff immediately takes you out of it, and it's so frustrating. It is.
Yeah. So I was trying to remind myself today because, like I said, I had like, like one of those days you have maybe like, I don't know, once every few weeks, once every month or something like
Yeah.
that, where you just like get done like an incredible amount of stuff. And it was like all really impactful and everything. And it was like noon. And I was like, oh, geez. That's
Shit.
a lot of day left. That's a lot of day left to not have anything to do. And I was like, I should just enjoy, like, let myself enjoy playing video games or something like that. So I did that for a while, but it's just like it just kept creeping in and in because there was this vacuum and my mind just started going. And I heard something, I was listening to The Power of Positive Thinking again, and he was talking about like you have to make it a habit to incline your mind to good things, like some of the best images you've ever seen from like nature, some words that might help you calm down, like prayers, anything. It's just you have to make it a habit in order to do that. Otherwise, your mind is just naturally going to go towards these terrible things.
You know what's funny? What I've been doing a lot recently is like when I'm feeling like when I'm get things done or I'm in between things and like I want to take like a break or something, like instead of like I don't go on social media and stuff, like I'll look at photos I took of like the dogs and stuff and birds
Hmm.
and stuff. That's been helpful, you know, and like but it is funny because I think part of it too is like I think we had talked about this earlier. I don't know, another time we met not that long ago, but like, that feeling too of like you're behind. Like if you don't do stuff now, or if like you take today to be present and hang out or like relax or whatever, like you're somehow falling behind from some theoretical race you're in. But it's like, you're comparing yourself to people that are already ahead of you anyway, or already doing maybe what you want to do or whatever. But it's also like that feeling so weird and so detrimental too, because it motivates that like the stupid grind culture and like that like I
Hmm.
got to keep going or I'm gonna like lose everything kind of mentality. And yeah, I think that's also part of our problem is we're rushing towards these goals rather than letting it happen, kind of as it should, I guess.
Yeah. Not to mention, I mean, essentially we have the longest lives ever. And so there was something because like I always listened to that Marcus Aurelius thing where he was like, stop living like you've got 1,000 years left to live. And because of that, I was like, man, I got to get it all done today because who knows when I could go? But then I heard someone else talking about it. I think it was in that book, uh, The Art of Spending Money or something like that, where he's like, if you knew how long you were going to live, you could plan stuff accordingly. And like, yeah, if you were to live a short time, you might want to do more. But what if you were going to live to be 100 or something like that? And I look at like statistically and stuff like that. Most of us are probably going to live to be 70, 80, 90.
Oh yeah,
So that's a
yeah.
long time left. So why do I need to do it all right now?
Well, that's the other thing that's funny, right? It's like, yeah, like if you knew, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt, like you were gonna make it to 31 or something, like you might want to do quite a lot and like forego a lot of other stuff that most people consider normal life, right? Like you'd probably want to
Hmm.
travel and spend time with friends and family and screw like a job and because like like
Yeah, absolutely.
you only have this much time. But yeah, most of us have way more than that, and we don't know when it's gonna end. That's the other problem I think too that can get in the way, right? Is like that slight unknown. But you're right, statistically we have all this time, so what
And
is
it's
the kind
also
of rush?
and it's also learning to just do stuff to do it. Like I always no, even if it's stuff that I want to do, I always am thinking on to the next thing that I have to do. Like I noticed it today when I went to the gym. I was going to the gym and I was like, well, after this, I got to do that and that and that. And I was like, hang on, no, I don't. All I have to do right now is just be at the gym and lift weights.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but it's so like it's so habitual for me to just be into the next thing so much that I completely miss out on all the stuff I'm doing
Well, you're
now.
not even there, right? Because you're already
Hmm.
thinking about planning, working through problems for that thing in the future rather than actually doing what you're doing now and being there, right? I do that a lot too. I
Hmm.
think we all do, and it's terrible. And that's part of that like rushing mentality of like we have to get done, get done. So you're always trying to like pre-plan the next thing before you even get there. Unknowing this, yeah,
Hmm.
without knowing the situation or anything. It's funny too. I noticed another thing too that I've been trying to stop doing, and like it dawned on me because I was listening to they were talking about statistics for like middle class and like who expect to be middle class and how these numbers have dropped so much for like the younger generations in the US and stuff for lots of reasons. And I was thinking about it because a lot of times too, like I think I'll get frustrated because I'll think about like our parents and stuff or their parents and where they were relative to our age in their own lives and like how easy it was for them to like get houses and get this and that and get
Hmm.
these other things. And it's like, but it's a false comparison right? Because
Dude.
that was a time in the country when there was one less people had college degrees. There were so many things different with work, corporations, companies. There, just so there was no internet for God's sakes. Like
Yep.
cost of everything was so much cheaper. So like
Hmm.
you can't make that comparison because it's one like wages that haven't gone up since then. Like there's so
Yep.
many factors that have like worked
I
against
know.
us for that.
I was thinking about that exact thing today, where we measure the economy based on like what percentage of people have jobs. And I was like, that is such a BS measure. It should be
Yeah.
how many people have a job that they can survive a livelihood on.
And
And
like
it's
a
like
good
you'll
life,
just
right?
see
Like
drastically the chart will just go
yeah.
down to zero.
Oh, dude, I hate that. I hate that number because it doesn't include people that stop looking or are
Mhm.
underemployed, and that's the biggest one, right? The
Yeah.
people that
And
aren't
like,
they're living check to check and
yeah.
don't have enough to pay for things.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of people like doing, I don't know, delivery stuff and all these different things, trying to make scrape a living together. And it's like they're doing two, three jobs
Yeah,
and barely meeting and still just putting everything on a credit card.
which is insane when you think about it, right? And that's one of the other things I've been trying to do. I've been trying to like when I do that, remind myself like, yeah, but that's not like if they were alive now, their situation would be wildly different, right? And so like trying to keep that in mind too, like of like it's also the time we live in, but I think that's also our problem is we do all these kind of stupid comparisons to make things seem better than they are. We're like talking about the economy in terms of like the GDP that has nothing to do with what the average person is doing, right? But it's so
Uh-uh.
easy to look at like the stock market's going gangbusters. It's like that's great, but most people don't have stocks. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. So I don't know. I was talking with ChatGPT. I was like, are things worse now than they've ever been, or is it just my perception of that? And it was trying to say that like throughout time it's always difficult because there was all these different things going on at different times. But also it's just we have different problems than they had back then. So it's
Well, this
difficult
is the
to
issue, right? It's like
yeah.
I think that's the hardest part about this is like we do have different problems. We have things that they didn't have. We have conveniences and comforts they didn't have. But we also have
Hmm.
problems that are different because of that and because the culture and society's changed. So it's like it is really hard to know like I'm sure they probably had the similar problems to us, honestly. Just different types of problems because, like similar amount probably, but just different. And I think
Yeah.
that's the difficulty, and it's hard to keep that in mind because I think so many of us also have this idea too. And I think that's the other thing is maybe like rehashing our idea of what a good life is, or like, for our culture or for our times or for our country or whatever, because, we get our expectations so high, I think, and that can be such a damning thing in the long run because most of us will never meet those expectations because it's just not likely given the situation or circumstances.
Hmm. Yeah. It's also unfortunate how much we've destroyed trust.
Oh God,
Because
yeah.
like you look at like trust and loyalty, like with companies, all the layoffs and all the sleazy practices they're doing, so nobody trusts their company. But then like you can't even trust anything anymore because all these scammers and everything like that. So it's just like those are kind of like the bedrock of society, like trust and loyalty,
Yeah.
and we've just destroyed them.
Well, we try to get everybody to pay indefinitely for things now without
Mm.
actually, it's like, and yeah, it is kind of a mess. And it's just the constant advertisements don't help, right? And it's like, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're being advertised to all the time now. So it's like, that's
Yeah.
also, I think, wears on people a lot because it's constantly like, oh, you don't have this thing, you don't have this thing, you don't have this
Yep.
thing. And it's like,
And then everything has planned obsolescence, so it's meant to break after a certain amount of time, so you have to buy another one. And it's like I'm not sure if it was just the way that I was brought up, but like, I feel bad about when stuff breaks, and I have to remind myself like that's the normal course of things to eventually be worn out and break. And
well, it's
yeah,
funny
it's
too. It's like
challenging.
when we came out of World War II and transformed all those factories to making war machines to making like appliances and stuff, they were chugging out like really high quality stuff. It was all made of metal. Guys,
Yeah.
they were making military gear. And it's like, so stuff was fixable too. Like, you
Uh-huh.
remember like I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know why I had this thought, but like, I remember there was a vacuum repair shop in town. Like, so many
Yep.
people had
The
vacuums they would
VCR
take.
repair shop,
Yeah, right. You didn't throw
all
things
that stuff.
away. You went and
Uh-huh.
got a new component or whatever when stuff
Television
broke.
repair shop, yeah, all
Yeah,
that
and
stuff.
we just toss everything now. And it's like such a different dynamic of thinking of everything as disposable is kind of
Uh-huh.
weird. But yeah, I think it's just, it's these changing times. It's very hard. And I've been trying to do it so much more is just try and stay present and focus on like what I'm doing and enjoy what I'm doing. Because there's no way to know what the future is going to be. But like, I also know like if you do the right things now, like more opportunities will open and things hopefully will
Yeah.
work out, but you don't know. So it's like you just can
Yeah.
only do the best you can.
I know. Yeah, it really, I do feel like I don't know if it's just because we were younger or what, but I feel like people are so much more negative nowadays.
Dude,
You
yeah.
know, everybody, it's like everybody you talk to, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they just rant on this bullshit about like how the world's falling apart. I'm like, come on, like, you
I
know?
don't know. I kind of think it is though. I really do. Like, cause like, well, not like, I think that people are more negative now. I don't know that, I don't
Uh,
know if there's a reason, like that there's a specific reason or that it actually is worse or that it's just like, I
I
think it is,
think
we're just
because they're all
exposed to
just
so much
addicted to the
negative
freaking
crap.
news and
Yeah,
the social media.
we're exposed to negative crap nonstop,
Like bad stuff happens, but you don't need to have it in your like I mean,
24/7.
yeah, exactly. And it's like an event will happen that's terrible. But then you see it on the news every day for a week or two until the next terrible event happens.
Yeah.
And it's just like you don't need that stuff. It happened one day. Forget it. Guess what? You
Yeah.
have like 12 days of nothing happening before
Well,
the next terrible event.
dude, think about like what cell phones came out when we were in high school, and they weren't even like computers then. They were phones, literally phones.
Yeah.
You couldn't even text. So like,
Yep.
think about that, right? Like at that point, we didn't have this 24-hour news cycle. Like really, like when we heard about things, they had already happened most of the time. Or like
Hmm.
when I was, I'd read about stuff, like I'd read a book or something on like the history or something. So you'd learn about stuff, but it was stuff that's happened and it puts it in a different context than like currently ongoing. Right?
Dude,
And
like
I
the
think,
first time that something was actually happening when we were watching it on the news was O.J. Simpson when he was like running away in the Bronx. That
yeah,
was like the first live news thing that
that was
happened,
actually,
really.
yeah. And they made and I mean, they made an effort to make that live, right? Like it wasn't
Uh-huh.
like now it's like the go-to for everything. So it is very hard to like I think see things in the right way, or we're getting like a very imbalanced picture, right? It's like everything, like all authorities, all TV and media are telling us it's all negative, or it's like always these like very partisan positions. So it's like they're all wrong, they're all assholes, and it's like it creates this very negative view of the world, and it's very hard to stay positive in it and not frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. The world's falling apart. There's
Yeah,
nothing we can do. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It, it's just one of those things that's gonna be that way forever or it's not, and how you
You know the
choose
hard
to
part
look at
is,
it.
yeah, and I think the hard part is it takes work to not fall into that. And that's the hard part too, is it's like the default's not the good thing. The default's
Hmm.
actually the bad thing, and you have to put effort in to not let yourself fall into that. And that's the really
Yeah,
hard part. Because it takes a lot of awareness and stuff to not do that? I mean, we really struggle with this
definitely.
still, and we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. Well, there you have it. That's all for this episode of the Existential Stoic podcast. Until next time, I'm Randy. That's Danny. I'll see you later, Danny.
Later, Randy.